Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Amber Unfiltered. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about grief and kind of how it shows up when you have a chronic illness. But before I do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you want to cash at me at Amber Unfiltered Show, that'd be greatly appreciated. Hopefully, this video is much shorter than the other ones. So I wanted to touch on this because I was like, I'm experiencing this myself. And I was like, has anyone else experienced this? I actually asked my boss, who is a breast cancer survivor, and she said this was totally her. And I was like, okay, I unfortunately am not happy that she had cancer in any way, shape, or form, but I'm glad that I was not going crazy or just imagining things or feeling things. So let's talk about it. So I have two tabs open here. I said, why does grief show up when dealing with chronic illness? And it says grief shows up with chronic illness because you're constantly losing parts of your former self, abilities, future plans, and independence, leading to a profound sense of loss for the life you expected. And I think that's perfectly well said. This living loss isn't a single event, but ongoing, manifesting as sadness, anger, or anxiety as you grieve your changing body, identity, relationships, and the uncertainty of your future. It's a normal reaction to the continuous, often invisible losses that chronic illness brings, sometimes called ambiguous loss. What you might be grieving: loss of identity, the activities, roles like being an athlete or a primary caregiver, and sense of self that the illness takes away. Loss of ability and independence. Yes, you have to lean on people, and that's very difficult for me to do. I'm an eldest child. I'm an only girl at that. So add that, in a Black family at that. So that there's so many things that in norms that I'm used to, that it's like I have to kind of retrain myself. Like, you don't have to fall into those not tropes, but those roles or those hats. So it says reduced mobility, strength, energy, or needing help with tasks once done easily. Loss of future, the dreams, career paths, or milestones you envisioned that now seem unattainable. I think for me, the biggest one is just like motherhood. It just seems like a carrot dangling in front of my face, but a big ass fucking question mark. Like, I'm like, is this possible for me? I know that it is. I know that there's other women who have it and have had children, but it still terrifies me because I'm like, I really, really want to be a mom, like a mom so fucking bad. Like, I love kids. I love being an aunt. I love seeing my nieces and nephew. I love any kids. Like, I've just always thought kids were just great. I know it's a lot of work being a parent. I know it's challenging. I know it's draining. I know there's ups and downs. I know that it's can throw you for a fucking loop. Kids can be a lot. They can be messy. They can be crazy. They can be all the things, but I still want to be a mom. Like, I love kids, and I just like have been talking about having kids with my husband since I met him in 2018. So for me, it's like, it's my lifelong dream coming to pass, manifesting. And, we just really want to expand our family. And I'm just like, it just seems impossible right now. It seems like it's so far out of reach. It seems like it's almost delusional for me to even think that, but that's just how I genuinely feel. Loss of physical self, changes in your body, appearance, or the constant battle with symptoms. I think the last one for me, the constant battle with symptoms, because they're very up and down. I don't always know what triggers it. Certain things I can notice, like if I eat them, like sometimes fish will make me bleed just randomly. Sometimes like very sugary, sweet things. Like I remember one time I ate kettle popcorn. I was bleeding the whole fucking day. Stuff with like very rich like icings and things like that. So I've tried, if I eat them, I'll try to portion control. Like I'll eat half of it or split it with my husband or something like that, or just little increments. Sometimes I'll be eating the whole thing, but I'll try really hard. The eating and the sweets is still like a work in progress, but I have like been good with portion control. I have been working out. I've been drinking water. I don't drink any alcohol. I don't do drugs. Like, I'm very on point with it. Like, this is probably the most on point I've ever been. And I've always wanted to get my health in order. And unfortunately, it took a chronic illness for me to do that. Loss of social connection, isolation, strained relationships, or feeling misunderstood as friends struggle to grasp your reality. And honestly, I haven't really told like that many of my friends. Like, I'm just now starting to tell more people. I just recently told my birth mom, my brother, my biological brother. I've started telling some of my friends that I only see once in a blue moon. Like, when people ask me how I'm doing, I actually don't even lie anymore. I'll be like, I'm going through it. I'm drained. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And then it kind of opens a conversation for me to be able to tell them. That actually is what happened with my brother. He was like, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm at my fucking wit's end. And then he was like, why? And then I told him, he was like, oh my God. And then when I told him I was getting surgery, he was like, I'm gonna come see you. I'm gonna bring the kids over. I'm gonna bring the wife over. Same thing with my birth mom. She asked me how I was doing. And I was like, I don't know how I'm fucking doing. Like, today I went to Barnes and Noble because they have the 50% off hardcovers. And the lady at the register, the cashier, she was like, how are you doing? I said, I don't know. She was like, that was me yesterday. I said, it's honest. Like, I really don't know. It says loss of certainty, the terrifying unpredictability of symptoms, pain, or the disease's progression. And that's definitely a huge thing. You feel like you have no control. Like, and I hate being out of control. Like, my anxiety be through the fucking roof, okay? Why it feels different from typical grief. No funeral. There's no clear endpoint or public ritual, making it an invisible grief that others don't often don't recognize. Perpetual loss. It's not one event, but endless mini losses, creating chronic sorrow. And that's literally what I feel like. It just be one thing after another, and I just be like, okay, let me just stay in it. Like, I recently got diagnosed with fucking narcolepsy, which is a sleep disorder. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I fucking started crying because I was like, another thing I have to manage. But I was like, okay, at least I have an answer. I have like some clear plan. I'm working towards a goal to get my body. Like, I really just want my body to be regulated. I want it to be healthy, and I want it to be less inflamed, and I want it to be calm. Like, I just want it to be calm, and I want it to be well taken care of. I want it to be a well-oiled machine, if that makes sense. So it says ambiguous loss. The person is physically present but changed, creating conflicting feelings. And I definitely deal with that a lot. How it shows up: emotional, sadness, hopelessness, anger, anxiety, depression, or feeling overwhelmed. I literally feel all these like every single day, some variation, sometimes a combination, sometimes one specific. I feel like the biggest one is just like the grief and the sadness, and then just like the overwhelm, because I'll be fine, and then I look at my calendar and I'm like, I have this many appointments. Some days I've had like 3 or 4 or 5 appointments in one day, and I'm like, this is crazy to me that I'm spending my days off in the doctor's office. Like, I'm fucking tired, but I'm like, I have to do it. Like, keep going. I know it's going to get better. And actually, my physical therapist actually told me this, because I was like, sometimes it's like this. And she's like, it is going to be like that. She's like, it's going to be like this, and then it's going to go up, and then it'll go down. And then she's like, it'll kind of just, could be at a constant, be at a steady pace. Physical, fatigue, pain, sleep changes, headaches, or gut issues, definitely experiencing all of that. Behavioral, withdrawal, irritability, or difficulty managing daily tasks. That's literally me. Like, I've been withdrawing, I've been irritated, I feel like I've been snapping at my husband, and I feel so bad for him. I'm like, it's not you. Like, yesterday I think I was mad. I came from physical therapy. I was actually fine in the morning, which was crazy. The session went really well. I was with my favorite PT, and then when I got like on the drive, I just got moody out of nowhere. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the session, maybe it was something else, I don't know. And I came home, and I think I made a smoothie, and I gave my husband like a little small, like the rest of it. It was like half a glass. I had the whole glass. And he was like, is something wrong? Did I do something? I was like, it's not about you. Because it's really not. Like, and I felt so bad for saying that. And I was like, I just snapped on him, and I felt so bad. But I was like, it literally isn't though. Like, sometimes it's nothing you could do. You just have to let me be in the mood. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's debilitating. It's too much. It's a lot for one person to manage. Like, and I have shit I'm trying to do in like my art life, my education, and everything else. And it's like, it almost acts as a barrier to entry. But I was like, I'm not fucking letting this stop me. I don't give a fuck what I have to do. Like, I'm going to do it. And it says, acknowledging these feelings as grief, not weakness, is crucial for coping, allowing for moments of joy, restoration while processing the loss orientation. And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, this is so me. I was like, I couldn't put my finger on. I was like, why am I always sad? I was like, why am I always, I just be crying out of nowhere. Like, I'd be driving, I'm good, listening to something on YouTube or listening to the radio, just be driving, I just start crying. I'm like, bro, what is this? Like, I'm just very moody. I'm like, I'm just gonna, even last week at work, I was like moving in fucking slow motion. I had an attitude. I didn't want to be there. If you know me, that's not me. We all joke and say, oh, I don't want to go to work. But I was like, my job is not bad. Like, it's a cool ass job. It's chill. I work with good people. Like, we got cool customers, and every now and then we get a Karen. But I was like, all right, like, for the most part, it's straight. And I was like, why do I not want to be here? Why I got an attitude? Why am I making drinks so slow? Why am I just, my heart was not in it. Like, it's so hard to show up. It is so hard. Like, it'd be a lot. I just feel like my battery is constantly running out. You know how a battery be red and when it got no juice, and green when it has, I feel like it'll immediately start off green and then immediately go to red. And I'd be like, damn, I was like doing so good, and I'd be beating myself up, and I'd be like, I need to fix my attitude. I need to shift my mindset. And I'd be praying. I pray for like a shift in my perspective, or just like how I'm viewing things. But sometimes I just let myself feel it. I just let it ride out like a fucking wave. I'm like, if this is what type of time you're on today, this is what type of time you're on. Like, it is what it is. And I was like, what can I do to get myself centered? What can I do? And I was like, okay, today I'm gonna buy myself a book. So I treated myself to a book. I really wanted to go to the movies, but I had that fucking appointment. I really want to see Hamnet, because I heard that's a movie that tackles grief. I was like, I need somewhere to place my grief, to put it down for a moment. And cinema does that for me. So I was like, when I'm not poor, I'm going to go see that movie or something else. So I also wanted to talk about navigating grief while dealing with a chronic illness. So it says navigating grief with chronic illness involves acknowledging losses, physical ability, future plans, or identity while oscillating between grieving and rebuilding. And that's a perfect, like you're grieving, but you're trying to rebuild and recover and like heal. It's very hard. Every day in my journal, my gratitude journal that I told you guys about, I literally write to heal, to have a good session, to heal my body, to rest my body. Like, that's literally what I've been writing and manifesting and speaking into existence. And I'm like, I'd be praying over my womb and my uterus too. I'd be like, this baby is gonna come, this baby is gonna be safe, and it's gonna stick. Like, it has to work. Like, I'm very big on like the power of manifestation and power being in your tongue and the words that you choose to speak. Using strategies like self-compassion, mindfulness, building strong support, and focusing on manageable self-care and new possibilities to find meaning rather than dwelling solely on what's lost. And the thing about building strong support, I was like, okay, I have a good support system, but I was like, I'm not, again, trying to shit on them. I think they're doing the best with what they have, with what they can, but I was like, I need more. And I was like, I'm not just going to sit around and feel sorry for myself. So I was like, okay, I'm seeing a void, I'm seeing a gap. There's no really support groups that I know of. There's nowhere to lay this grief, to commune with other people that have this or are going through this. So I was like, I'm gonna make it. Like, I have to make it. I can't just wait for someone, because I was like, oh, maybe I can join a virtual group or something, but I was like, no, I want it here. I want it to have roots here. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I already asked my PT. I was like, hey, if I make a flyer, can you guys like, can I post it? Is it okay? Because I was like, I don't want to breach patient like confidentiality or whatever. But I was like, I want to meet other women. I want to form some type of community or like sisterhood or friendship, or just somewhere where I can let this shit go, because I was like, I can't carry this. This is literally gonna fucking consume me alongside the disease, and I can't. And I literally have two. I have three now: endometriosis, PCOS, and narcolepsy. I was like, I'm at my wit's end. I need to talk it through. That's how I work through things. I talk through them and I write through them. And I have a therapist. I have people in my corner, but I was like, I need more. What I have is not completely working for me. It's not serving me in the way that I need. So I was like, I have to create this. Key steps including validating emotions, seeking professional help, building resilience through support networks, and intentionally finding joy and purpose within new limitations, making it a dynamic process of adapting to profound change. And I think it's the change. The change causes anxiety, the unknown. You're booking appointments, you're booking surgeries, you're taking medicine, you're doing all the things, and you're like, am I gonna see some results? Are these fruits gonna fucking bloom? So it says, acknowledge and validate your grief. It's normal. Understand it's okay to feel anger, sadness, fear, and guilt over lost abilities, dreams, and a former self. Identify losses. Grieve the loss of future plans, physical capacity, career paths, and even daily independence. Express emotions. Allow yourself to feel, perhaps through journaling, art, or talking rather than suppressing them. And I'm very good at like naming how I feel. I'd be like, oh, I feel pissed today, or I feel rage today, or maybe not rage, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be like, I'm upset, or I'm drained, or I don't have any energy, or I'm just like, I'm very good at articulating that. And I've been journaling a lot more, because I'm like, this is one of the very few things that helps. And I was like, I'm going to get back into reading, because I was like, that really helps me too. It helps me escape. Sometimes we want an escape from the pain. It says strategies for coping and resilience, self-compassion and patience. And that's something I'm very, very hard on myself. And I was like, why am I talking to myself like this? I was like, girl, you're going through one of the worst fucking things you could possibly go through. Like, have some grace and have some space, like I have to tell myself, like, it's okay to feel what you're feeling. Like, just don't let it consume you. But if you need to feel it, you need to feel it. Like, it's in your spirit, it's in your psyche for some reason. So you have to acknowledge it and you have to validate it. I think sometimes I can like gaslight myself or talk like, oh, you need to stop being a baby. You need to stop. Like, I really told myself this the other day, and I was like, why are you talking to yourself like that? Like, you need to validate your inner child, but you also need to validate your older adult. You know what I'm saying? So it says, be kind to yourself and accept your current limitations without judgment. I'm very hard on myself, like I say, and I can judge myself. It's crazy how much nicer I can be to other people, but not myself. But I'm like, no, you need to flip it. Like, you also need to be kind to yourself too. Mindfulness. Use grounding techniques like the 5-4-3-2-1 method to stay present and soothe anxiety. Sometimes I'll do breathing exercises if I'm really, really upset or stressed, and that has helped me, even if it's just counting and just trying to calm my nerves. Support system. Lean on friends, family, or support groups. Communicate openly about your needs. And that's something I struggle with. I struggle to say, hey, I need this. Hey, I need you to do this. And I've been trying to do better about that. Professional help. Seek therapy like complicated grief therapy for personalized strategies. Focus on control, manage what you can, diet, meds, rest to regain a sense of agency. And that's recently what I had to tell myself too, because I was pushing myself to do too much. Like the writers group that I'm in, we do like a workshop like once a month on like the third Wednesday of the month. And I had already presented the piece that I told you guys about, the personal essay, but then I had another piece. It was like a horror piece that I was working on and I needed some help. And I wanted to submit that because I originally was supposed to go this month, but I pushed it up because that piece just came out of nowhere. I love pieces like that, by the way. Those are the best kind of art that just kind of seeps from your fucking pores. And I was gonna go again, and I was trying to write yesterday, and I was like stuck. Like I was like, something is blocking me, like energetically and creatively. And so I was gonna force myself. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try again. And I was like, maybe it's okay to take a step back. I was like, I'm putting too much pressure on myself because I needed this piece done by Friday. It was Monday. So I really would have had 4 or 5 days. And I was like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to like upset my nervous system or like send it into overdrive. Like I was like, it's okay if someone else goes, it's okay if someone else has their shine. You submitted a piece, I think it's okay to rest. And I was like, what can I do to calm myself down? And so yesterday I tried to like make myself busy. I was like, okay, what would make me feel good? I was like, clean dishes, like a clean sink. I made like a little breakfast casserole. I worked out. I made myself a smoothie. Just like asking myself, what do you need? Asking my body, what do I need? And like really honoring it, but also listening to it and following it, So it says rebuilding and finding meaning. Oscillate. And I want to go back to that. I was like doing things that are like very minimal, like low key, like very rest oriented or like simplistic. I was like, creating takes a lot of energy. Creating takes a lot of labor. I was like, why would I put that on myself? And I was like, it's also my last week at my job that I've been at for almost a year. So I was like, there's probably some emotional, not turmoil, but upset or just like, anxiety, like fear of the unknown, but also like, oh my God, I'm letting go of something that I have become accustomed to and is incorporated. The change really was what it was. And I was like, I should probably honor that and not do too much and try to just like keep myself as calm as I possibly can because I do horrible with change. It says oscillate, move between focusing on losses or grieving and focusing on restoration, building a new life, create new possibilities, plan future activities, even small ones, and explore new hobbies that fit your current abilities. Adapt and accept. I think the acceptance part is the hardest part. Focus on what you can do and build a fulfilling life within your new reality rather than dwelling on what's gone. And key concept, dual process model, DPM. This theory suggests healthy grieving involves alternating between confronting loss-oriented stressors, the illness, and restoration-oriented stressors, rebuilding life, allowing for breaks from intense grief. So I don't know, I just wanted to talk about it and see if anybody else was going through something similar, even if you don't have endo or endometriosis or PCOS or anything like that. How do you unwind? How do you center yourself? How do you not get caught up in the grief? Because I really do think it can kind of like sweep you away. And then it's like hard because it's like now I'm fucking drowning and wallowing in self-pity and darkness and just turmoil when really I should just be kind of like floating in it, just being at rest, being at ease. But yeah, I feel like what's worked for me so far is like journaling. I try to look out for movies. I even like reading articles, like interviews or profiles about artists. I do that. Sometimes I'll like take little social media breaks. Working out actually helps me because it just redirects my focus. But some days, even doing that, I'm like, oh my God, like some days I just really don't have the energy and I just have to keep trying and I keep, trying to, yeah, I just keep trying and I try. I don't even know if I tell myself it'll get better. I'm just listening to music. I've been listening to a lot of Cleo Sol. There's a song by her I really love that says, it's called Things Will Get Better. And she's talking about like her relationship with God and like not being overwhelmed, not being anxious, anxiety ridden. And I was like, girl, you preaching to the choir. But that kind of centers me, filling out both of my journals, my regular one where I just journal about my day to day, because it's like purging is getting rid of everything. And then my gratitude journal, I try to find very small things or things that I wouldn't normally find gratitude in. And I was like, damn, I really do have a lot to be thankful for, but it is still really tough navigating a chronic illness and not knowing what's on the other side of that. I think that's what I wanted to touch on. My prayer is that if anyone in my subscriber list or anyone in general comes across this video is navigating a chronic illness, I understand how tough it is. I see you, I believe you, and I want better for you. I pray that your condition improves. I pray that you heal, you find some sense of healing or restoration. And my ultimate prayer is that you find joy, because I think it's very hard to find joy when you're in such a unique but very painful and complex and layered situation. But anyways, I love you guys and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.